48 Hours is talking with a key figure in a case of murder and alleged fraud involving a prominent South Carolina family. Attorney Alex Murdaugh is charged with trying to have himself killed in order to get $10 million in insurance money for his son. Now, 3 months earlier, his wife and another son were shot to death. That case is still unsolved at this time, but his lawyer tells WHNS-TV that Murdaugh is a person of interest while insisting he did not kill them. Murdaugh told investigators, we have to follow along here, that he hired a man named Curtis Smith to shoot him in the head last month. Murdaugh claims he's been addicted to opioids for 20 years, and Smith is his drug dealer. Now, Smith tells his side of the story for the first time this morning to Nikki Battiste. It's a 48 Hours interview.
Nope, I didn't know.
You've been called the hillbilly hitman.
Mm-hmm.
How does that make you feel?
I laugh at it. I really do.
Curtis Smith says it was September 4th when his friend, South Carolina attorney Alex Murdaugh, called claiming he needed help. Smith says Murdaugh was like a brother to him, so he didn't think twice before heading to meet him. When Smith arrived on a stretch of road, he says Murdaugh emerged from his car holding a gun.
He's down there like this. He said, yeah, you got to take care of this. I said, well, I can't do it. And he turned his head. I just grabbed his arm, put it behind his head, took the gun from him.
Smith claims during that struggle, the gun went off. Then he disposed of the weapon.
Yeah, he wanted me to kill him.
To make it look like a suicide.
Yeah. Ain't happening.
Of course, Curtis is like anybody else. Are you insane? What are you doing?
Johnny McCoy is Smith's lawyer.
Made sure he couldn't kill himself. And no crime. No crime.
If I hadn't took the gun, I don't know what he would have done. That simple.
After the struggle, Smith says he ran off and went home.
How were you feeling as this was happening, as you're driving away?
Mad, scared, all at one time.
No crime was committed.
Yeah.
Right. Some people would think, well, he tried to kill himself.
Is that a crime?
No, I guess, or he called 911. Some people think call 911 because it's...
But the gun got taken out of his hand. Why on earth would you call the police, let alone on Alex Murdaugh, when nothing... What are you going to say? Hey, this guy was suicidal.
But Murdaugh's original version of the events was much different from Smith's. He initially told investigators he was changing a flat tire when a driver passed by and shot him in the head. He was taken to a nearby hospital for a superficial gunshot wound. Murdaugh now says he asked Curtis Smith to meet him on the side of the road and help him take his own life, hoping his life insurance would be paid out to his only surviving son. Murdaugh's attorney at the time of his arrest said his client was addicted to opioids and that it had taken a toll on his mental health, a fact Smith took advantage of, he says, when he agreed to take Murdaugh's life. According to Murdaugh's attorney, Murdaugh had grown more distraught in the months following his son's and wife's unsolved murder at their home in June.
Did you shoot Alex Murdaugh?
No.
Were you Alex Murdaugh's drug dealer?
No.
If you're guilty of anything, what is it?
Trusting too much.
Are you innocent?
Yes.
For CBS Mornings, I'm Nikki Battiste in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina.
Number one, I'm fascinated Nikki even got an interview with him at this particular time because his case, as you know, is still unfolding. She says that Smith says he has no hard feelings for Murdaugh because he thinks he's a man who went through a rough time after his wife and son were killed. It was a very bizarre story from the very beginning, and the more you hear, the more strange it gets.
And I have sympathy for anyone who's going through a problem with addiction. The question is not sympathy, the question is were crimes committed? It's a heck of an interview.
Yeah, and the more you peel back the layers, there's so many different aspects to this, and the deaths before the attempted murder on the side of the road.
Absolutely.
There's a lot going on.
A lot going
in
on.
That story.
Well, you'll hear more of Nikki's interview, in fact, the rest of Nikki's interview with Curtis Smith on an upcoming episode of 48 Hours right here on CBS.